Hey, Olivia, do you want to come on?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Mike. And hi, Bastian. Thanks so much for sharing your time with us today. This has been a really awesome group chat. So I had a product related question. So as you were growing Postmates, can you tell us a little bit about a time when you launched a product or, you had a strategy failure and then what you learned from that?
So we always try not to be afraid of failure at Postmates because nobody wants to fail, and we much rather like to win. Um, but we will fail, and everybody will fail, and it's good to have the right attitude about it. A lot of people, when they fail, they don't want to try things again, or they're embarrassed about it. But if you free yourself from that fear, I think that's a powerful thing, because it's not even that you learn from failure. I'm not even sure if I believe that. But ultimately, you just have to teach yourself not to be afraid to fail, because you will fail. So you just need to accept it as a reality, and don't read into failure that you shouldn't try certain things, because you have to try a lot of things. If you run a startup, your job is to test a list of prioritized hypotheses in the shortest period of time possible to get to where you want to be. You have hypotheses, you prioritize them by importance, and it's your job to prove them as fast as you can. So yes, an hypothesis can either become true, or it's true or false. So you will fail with a lot of these things. One of the things that we thought would be great to do is if we launch a service called, I think we called it Postmates Dabawala, because of the famous food delivery system in India, where they have these beautiful, almost wisdom of the cloud orchestration of meals that travels through trains in and out of cities, that gets distributed. These pots return magically the next morning, and millions of workers eat that way. So we bought really big bikes that you could put food in, and we made deals with restaurants and got 100 of burritos, 100 of salads, and then people could pre-order them and would go around in routes, and we would deliver them. And it was an interesting product, but it was ultimately not successful enough. But my point is not what we did. My point is just don't bother about it if something doesn't work. The most important thing is to realize that it doesn't work and then move on. So putting something out in the world, have some clear metric in place that you can say this is successful or not. Sometimes that's hard because you feel like it needs more time, but that's also okay. Then you should come up with hypotheses for that, and how you can define the way that you want to test these things, and that'll help you. That'll help you figure out if something is successful or not. I think a lot of times I see people hanging on too much on something that clearly is not successful and that won't be successful. In that instances, I think it's best to do a series of pivots to try to find a different market, or an adjacent market, or another angle that could work. And I think that's actually a great thing to do. So great startups do that. And your job then, obviously, as a founder, is you got to make sure that everybody is on board with that. It is in general a great idea when you start a company, in my opinion, to set the expectations with everybody in the team that this is likely not going to work, and that the outcome will be different than what you thought it is, and that it's not a straight path, but you likely have to have a series of sprints and changes to get to where you want to be, but that the intent is to build a great company in that box. And I think if you communicate that, then and by the way, you have to communicate this every day. So a lot of I think there is a disease, and a lot of founders, they believe they don't have to constantly repeat what's in their head to their co-founders, to the early employees, to their team, and they get tired of hearing themselves talk, and they get tired of people think they're stupid. People think, oh my God, I think I'm repeating myself. It's one of the most important, it may be the most important thing, actually. It may be the most important thing to do is to constantly reiterate, repeat, and rephrase and make sure everybody in the team understands what you're doing and why you're doing it at any moment in time. Think about it, how easy it is to misunderstood someone. Think about your partner. You say something, the other person says something back, misunderstanding, fight takes 2 seconds. Imagine how difficult it is, how easy it is to misunderstand something in the business sense. You think you articulated it perfectly. 3 people didn't get it. A week later, still questions. So part of your job as a founder is you need to constantly communicate why you're doing something, sort of focus based on the reality, and continue to tell that story at any moment in time, every day, like every meeting, every other meeting, because people otherwise can't follow. They can't follow what's in your mind. They can't follow where you want to go. They can't follow why. They need to understand why. Why we're doing this. Why do you think this has failed? Why do we move on to this? And you need to be able to tell them why that is. It's a great way for you as well to test if the decisions that you make are sound, and if somebody can follow that, if there is a certain logic behind it, if it is based on sort of a hierarchy that people can understand and that they can relate to. If your employees can, then you're already having a problem, because those are the first people that you need to convince to be with you, right? So if the people in your team can't follow it, that's probably not so good for new hires, and also not for any fundraising.